Oh, look, she's crashing out. She's crashing out as always.
How's it going, everyone? Tophia the last few days has been having multiple crash outs over just about everything. But the one thing Tophiachu really can't stand at the moment is Mamachu. All that time been cooped up together has made their relationship grow thin, to say the least. Whether it's the coughing in her ear or just hearing the trolls bring up how Tophia treats Mamachu, something has changed. Any little thing Mamachu does, Tophia is acting like she's the parent and bossing Mamachu around at any chance she gets. Never has Mamachu been so close to being kicked out of the Chu Cruiser. And that's not all. Tophiachu also has another huge meltdown about being homeless because, as she puts it, she knows everything about the street life now. Nobody should be able to tell her how to live her life. She's in her prime, a Chu at the top of her game, an apex predator, some would say. Able to sniff out any Comic-Con, Asian corn, or squid chews for miles.
Mom, just leave it. It's okay.
What?
It's broken. It doesn't get hot sometimes. You just gotta leave
turn
it.
it off then. Why are we gonna be more cold?
Mom, it is. You have to leave it. Please, enough. Because then you're gonna have people saying I'm f***ing yelling at you. I say something, then they, why do you let her disrespect you? Why do you let her talk to you like that? So fucking annoying. These people don't have a life. Because I already said, leave it the fuck alone. How many times do I have to say, leave it the fuck alone? Leave it the fuck alone. Jesus Christ. That's like... When I see those videos of those parents telling their kids sit down, like that one kid where she told him sit down and he didn't, and he went and he hit himself on the dresser, and she said now you're gonna learn, sit the f down. Like I would be that parent to tell my kids sit the f down, because you're doing too much. Like these kids be running around, their parents tell them sit down, they don't listen, and then when they smack themselves, then the parent says, sit the f down. Like, she lost her hearing aids, and I have to use the warranty to get the other hearing aids, but there's an issue at the post office, so I'm not gonna have the hearing aids delivered there, because then they might get lost. I haven't gotten my solar panel charger, so I'm trying to get a refund. Man, I don't know, I need to check the email because Amazon is pissing me off. Actually, I need to call them. They keep telling me to send the information for my charger, and I sent them the information. They want the order number, they want the date that I ordered it, they want the name of the item and what the issue is, and I've already sent them that 3 times, and they keep saying, well, we didn't get your information, we never received it, you gotta tell us the information so we can. I'm like, bro, I don't need to yell nicely when I'm yelling because she can't hear. There is no way of yelling nicely. Can you stop? You could tape your goddamn fingers together and not type. Like, why are you telling me how to speak? I'll speak how the I want to speak. Thank you. Jesus Christ, that's like people saying, oh my God, you're cussing. I'm 30, almost about to be 31. Why am I rude for saying that's not rude? You haven't even seen me be rude or angry. I'm not angry or rude today. This is very chill. I could be worse than this. Mom, it is working. It's working.
It's not, there's no heat coming out.
It's working. Jesus Christ.
Just leave it off for a while.
No,
and then try it again. That's
why is it on? Why is this on? Why are we wasting that?
Not the car.
The car doesn't need to be on. Oh.
The heat.
I know why the car is on.
Tophia knows all of the comments she gets telling her that she needs to treat her mom better. and that she takes advantage of her. And she always freaks out when she reads them, but still yet she proceeds to yell at Mamachu and demand the elderly lady to listen to her. Even though when it comes to the heat, I'm gonna say Mamachu probably should decide what temperature it is. You can make do. She's not so fortunate. And when it comes to screaming at her, let's just take Tophia's word Mamachu is hard of hearing. Tophia is still screaming right at her. Let's remember, they are right next to one another. Which brings up my other point. Why not, I don't know, just tap Mamachu to get her attention? That seems like the easier option, so at the very least, optically, you could avoid all of the comments that obviously bother you. So there, I'm not calling you out for yelling at Mamachu. I'm saying you're like the female cyraxx. You manage to do everything in just the worst way possible. And then Tophia goes on this rant about how she told Mamachu 1,000 times to leave the heat alone in the car. And she's just sick of it, guys. Doesn't she sound like the parent here? Like she's the authority figure and Mamachu just needs to learn her place. Tophiachu pays for alternators and celebrity autographs around this car. There is no way I would talk to my parents like that in private, let alone on a public platform. The disrespect is just out of this world. She obviously could care less about Mamachu. She demands her around, over talks her. At this point, I'm convinced Tophia just keeps Mamachu around so she doesn't have to read the comments she'd get if they dropped her off at the shelter and drove off. And I think Tophia likes having a blank wall to talk to. Little inputs here and there, you know, giggles and agreeing with her opinion. If those things weren't in play, you couldn't convince me Mamachu wouldn't be forced to tag along on Papachu's adventures. And something else that I don't need much convincing on is Tophia being a poor parent if she somehow even found herself in that situation. But I guess Nova is always a bus ticket away. You never know, guys. But yeah, the way Tophia treats all of her other loved ones, or I guess quote-unquote loved ones in her case, why should she treat her kids any different? Like, why would she? It just doesn't make any sense. She probably would be hyped when she realized she would get some free benefits. Tophia's favorite thing in the world, but that would end quick once she realized she had to take care of it, and there's no one else in that household who could watch it either, for varying obvious reasons. So hopefully this just stays in Tophia's imagination.
Like, don't be coming over here saying I'm spending my money on stuff like that. This isn't my car. Why would I buy Bluetooth for it? I'm gonna drive it, but it's not my car. Bluetooth is unrecognized. Let me turn this on. Like, don't be accusing me of stuff. The only thing I bought for this car was the alternator. That's it. I bought the part to get the car running. Other than that, nope. What kind of an influencer are you? Well, I'm not an influencer because I don't influence people, right? Because an influencer would have to influence people to do great things. I will influence you to be big if that's what you really want. Because if someone's to you, I'm not going to tell you how to respond. Okay? I'm just not going to. You know, let's call it out, right? Because I don't influence anyone to do anything. I'm living out of a car. I would not want to influence you to live out of a car. Mind you, you should always be prepared in case you end up in this situation, because you don't know, you could end up right here. So make sure that you are, but you are set. But other than that, I'm not influencing anyone to do anything. I'm not influencing shit. I'm not an influencer. I'm far from that. Every single day, I'm going through a situation where I'm living out of a car, but I still speak up for my people. It's so crazy because even going through this situation, I still can speak about things. Why can't they? There's no freaking excuse. When you have time off, talk about it. They ain't speaking about it. They ain't saying anything.
I like how Tophia will just flip-flop whether the car is her responsibility or not. Like, if she wants to prove to people she's responsible, she's the only reason it moves. But if she thinks someone is going to say she's spending money poorly, well, never mind, not my car. She plans on driving it, lives in it, and helps out very rarely, but nope, not hers. And I assume like the Bluetooth speaker and probably the plant that comes along with it, nobody really cares that much about it. She's had far worse purchases out there. Sitting there all day would be really boring. No one would really care about that. It's like when she goes to Comic-Con and stuff like that. Those are the purchases people criticize you for. And yeah, since you made like 0 real purchases to help your family's living condition, that's like the only reason that people could actually criticize you for buying that speaker. And I would certainly say you're an influencer, Tophia, just not the way I think you like. I see in the comments all the time how your poor decision making inspires others to fix their life. So in a way, you do influence. It's just wild that you can't look in the mirror and accomplish something similar. But then again, you do actively fight against learning any single lesson. So what do you really expect? But still yet, she's going to tell you to be prepared if the situation happens to you. How was Tophia prepared? Was she just so mentally ready to fail? Being homeless was just right around the corner at any minute? When the homeless arc started, you guys were so rushed you didn't even have time to hide the evidence of used Pampers, and barely had anything when you fled the hotel, not even your dignity. But still yet, at the very end of this, she tries and virtue signals. What amazes me the most in this rant is she's calling others out for just minding their business and not speaking on something they probably know nothing about. But Tophiachu's the poster child for inserting herself in something she knows nothing on and receiving nothing but backlash right along with it. But she's going to tell them to try it out. You're a prime example of why that's a horrible idea. Why would anyone listen to you?
Why do I need to know that? You're saying, did I know? No, I didn't know. And why would I need to know that? Please don't let me know what he's tweeting on Twitter. I don't care. I don't go to his Twitter. I don't see his Twitter. I don't want to know. He's been out for a long time. Where have you been? He's been out for a while. Where have you been? I don't need people to tell me that my dad is posting his junk on Twitter. That's not having an attitude. That's asking for boundaries and respect. Is it so hard to give somebody respect? Like, Jesus. I guess I don't get respect. Whoever it was is trying to get him on his medication. We're just going to end up having run-ins with the law. Right now is not a good time considering the fact we have vehicles that I'm not going to... It's not a good idea for him to get in possession of a vehicle and start driving. And it's also not a good idea because he keeps having run-ins with the laws and he's not on his medication. We are working on getting him on his medication. We already told the guy he will not go down there and get his medication because they said he has to go down there himself. He explained why. So for that reason, they are figuring out a way to get him down there to get his medication. When he's on his medication, he will be well enough, you know. I have to pause it. It's so annoying because I've already explained this. My brother can't be at work worrying about what's happening to us because my father's with us. There is so much going on. Like, he can't be at work hoping that something doesn't happen because we have to... Like, it's hard enough as it is with just 3 of us. It's hard enough to manage everything, you know, to make sure that my family's eating all the time. Like, to make sure that we're doing well and we're doing okay and making sure that they help us get him on his medication. That's what we're working on, but it's so difficult on top of getting a place. We have to get him back on his disability because he doesn't have his disability. He's not on it. He hasn't been on it since they cut him off. On top of that, making sure that we buy this house so we don't have to keep moving and then have to worry whether or not people are going to call the place to get us evicted. That's another thing.
You know, I honestly can't blame Tophia for not wanting to see Papachu's Twitter profile because... I don't want to either. There's not a single worse way I could imagine spending a moment of my day. But when you put in the perspective that Papachu is Tophia's dad, it makes it that much worse for her. I think most of us here can agree visiting our parents' Facebooks or any relatives really isn't the best thing ever. We might cringe a little bit, but that is nothing. Could you imagine your parent posting the stuff like Papachu does? If you even know. If you don't, good for you. The secondhand embarrassment would be like a million times more. You'd never be able to look at them the same. And then there's the stuff he posts about Tophia. At this point, I consider Papachu a top tier A-log with what he's posted about the big Toph. But do you guys remember when Tophia and Mamachu was ranting not too long ago about how they're looking for Papachu and trying to get him some help? Well, here she's basically admitting they're not trying at all. They do not want Papachu anywhere around them. They've probably drove past the dude a few times because she knows Papachu typically only brings trouble. And it's just not happening right now. She's not getting the cops involved with her. She's not losing any of the cars. Papachu is not ruining the last thing her family has. And you really can't blame her for that. But they do need to do more to get him some medication. If it's not for his sake, how about the people you know he disturbs every day? And guys, I don't think we can deny most of us just want to see Papachu back with the family just so we can see what unfolds, because we all know forever how long it lasted, it would be the best. It's not the best for Tophia, but for the viewers, that's what we need.
It's like there's so much going on that I am literally trying my best to manage everything. Oh, well, you went to and everyone I knew everyone was going to bring up Comic-Con and never shut the fuck up about Comic-Con. It doesn't matter if I went to Comic-Con or not. If I was paying rent, I would still have to face being evicted because some little shithead wanted to call the place because they found out where we live. And if I was in a place right now, y'all would be actively looking for my place to dox me. Trust me. You'll be like, where's she at? Let's find her so we can report it to the place. It's so fucking... I am so stressed out as it is enough. My purpose in life is to not have a life. The way people act, they don't realize how hard it is. It's hard. Making sure the bills are paid. Making sure that I have money to get out of this situation. Then people saying, you're gonna be homeless forever. Like, who wants to be homeless forever? Did I ever say I wanted to be homeless forever? No, bitch. Getting a job is gonna not help me get out of this situation either. Because I'm not getting a job, I want to be homeless forever. I don't have to do what the fuck you tell me to do. It is my life. Leave me the fuck alone and worry about yours. You ain't a nobody. So why do you want me to be a nobody? Like, I'm not giving up because you tell me to. I'm not listening to you. I listen to you. I'll be stuck at a 9-to-5 job for the rest of my life. That... No way. No how, no way. It's weird, man. You want me to be down because you're down. And you didn't realize the secret to make loads of money. And because you're not where you don't like that I'm somewhere you're not, you want me to go down with you, and it's not gonna work. I'm so... Man... I can't even, it is so crazy how people act, and they want me to suffer because they're suffering. Why would I want to work a 9-to-5 job and then not have a place to go take a shower? And then on top of that, I would still be living out of the car because I can't afford a place to rent. I would have to buy a house. And I sure as heck ain't gonna buy a house on a 9-to-5 job. There is no way working a 9-to-5 job I will ever buy a house. No way. You want me to be stuck to a paycheck to paycheck job because you're stuck to a paycheck to paycheck job. Your life is not my life.
When you hear Tophia talking about trying hard at something, you can tell she might have made a phone call or two. I've never seen a person who meets the first barrier of something and immediately is like, okay, I will not try anymore. You ever heard of those people who will not take no for an answer? Well, Tophia is the exact opposite. I think that's what she's looking forward to, in all honesty. If someone says she can't do it, Well, that's just something she no longer has to do. Win-win scenario, not for her future, but Tophia's mental well-being, and you guys know how delicate that is. And now with the troll interference, she refuses to do anything anymore because she's right. Apartment managers will get calls. It's inevitable at this point, but just pay on time every time. Keep the apartment clean and keep the chaos to a minimum. And whenever you do get calls, the manager will probably ignore it, most likely. Oh, and let's not forget informing them in detail of your situation. Don't leave any stone unturned. You've got to tell them everything, no matter how embarrassing it gets, so they have a full grasp of what's going on. Your situation is very unique. And when it comes to the calls Brotherchu is going to be getting, he deserves them. You know what he did. You have to defend the dude like 5 times a day at this point, because if you don't, well, there's no car and no Brotherchu working, so it's basically game over for you at this point, because you're certainly not getting a job. You've made that awfully clear. It amazes me that she can say how hard life is like she's talking to robots who just breeze through the day without a single problem, and then talk down on her viewers for even having a job. Like, she does know this is how everyone gets by for the most part. And it's also never wise to talk down on the people who donate to you, especially when you want them to fund your laziness. That will for sure work out every single time, Tophia.
I don't truly understand. I wake up in a car every day not being able to shower almost every day because my brother sometimes has to go to work early. I understand the situation. You don't understand. You don't seem to understand how America is. We're all f***ed. We're f***ed. Like, you don't understand that there is mass homelessness in Albuquerque. My whole city is full of homeless people sleeping out of their cars. I'm not the only one. I get constantly because some dumbass bitch wants to call the police, and then the police are saying, well, we gotta ask you to move, you can't be here. And I'm constantly being targeted by police and being treated like I'm a goddamn criminal just for living out of a car. You know what, when you say I don't understand, I can't even tell you exactly how I feel. My mom could be without a daughter in a few days. Because that's where it's about to go. You don't understand. Because you don't give a f*** because it's not happening to you. If you was in this situation, you would understand. But you don't understand. You will never understand. They were calling my brother's job saying he was a hazard. Let's really get into it. That's who they was saying was a hazard. But yet, people might say, oh, we're not going to call your jobs. Oh, we're not going to mess with you. But they tried it. And it didn't work. Spare me the bullshit of go get a job so you could get me fired and then laugh about it. And then sit here and say, it's my fault. Oh, it's your fault. You can't keep a place. When people fake-ass reviews. When people are the ones that constantly take shit real life. But if I was to do the same thing to you, oh, it would be a whole different reaction. Now, would it? People would be like, why are you harassing these people? Leave them alone. It's so crazy. And this is not a crash out. Be so for real. Stay out of a bitch's business, first of all. You spend more hours every waking second of the day thinking about me than you do about your life and how it's screwed. We're all screwed. Damn. Does the Reddit ever take a break? Gas station food is expensive. Especially to try to make this shit last until the end of the month, and by the end of the month we're if I had a place, then I would be cooking right now. And I wouldn't have to worry about some days. Yesterday, the only thing I had was Cheeto Puffs. And you really don't truly grasp the severity of the situation at hand. If people was making living, if the living wage was a lot better, people wouldn't be living out of their cars and going to a job. I'm not the only person living out of my car. There's a lot of people that make living out of their car content on YouTube, and a lot of people that go on TikTok asking for help because they're living out of their car. Let's be so for real. You don't understand. You will never understand. Look the around you.
At this point, I think Tophia saying everyone in America is doomed is just cope. Whether that was true or not, I think it's what Tophia needs to believe to keep herself going. Kinda like Mamachu needs to think he's the owner of the world's wealthiest bank. There's all these small things that point to Tophia ending up just like Mamachu, and that's just another I think we can add to the list. And does anyone else find it funny, in the middle of her crash out, she proved why her not working or trying anything to even attempt to work because she thinks trolls will ruin it? It is just a lie she tells us. While she was ranting, she admits the trolls have been calling Brother Chu's job but haven't affected it at all. But if you was to bring this up to her, somehow Brother Chu's situation would be different. But I guess that's enough for me today, guys. We'll definitely be covering the cyraxx situation. That'll probably be the next video, so don't worry about that, homies. Anyways, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow the socials down below. Catch you guys next time.